Well, do you ever feel like many of us, in the midst of a successful season in our life, when it feels like everything is going well, sometimes things out of the blue really veer us off course. And sometimes those setbacks are a setup for a comeback, as Willie Jolly used to say. And our guest today is going to tell us a little bit about how that happened to her. Our guest today is Sada K, who will be sharing her voice with us in just a few minutes. But Sada hails from Kansas City. I used to live in Tulsa.
Absolutely.
And her parents brought her up in music and faith. She used these gifts when she toured with the Christian pop band Press Play, until she suffered a devastating injury to her knee, which took her off the road and away from performing. Her journey has had quite a few obstacles, but her faith has carried her back to music and performing. Sada K, welcome.
Thank
so glad
you.
you're here. Hi.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you. It's an honor. It's an honor.
So first, for those who aren't familiar with your musical career, tell us a little bit about Press Play.
Press Play was a Christian pop band birthed out of a church in LA called the Dream Center, and we just really were able to just go all over the country and just spread God's love in a beautiful way. And it was definitely a blessing and a learning experience for me to learn ministry on a music level. I've always loved music, but that really introduced me to being able to minister with my gifts and on a completely different level that, you know, God can do exceedingly above all the things that you ask for, and He definitely has taken me along that journey. So.
Yeah, and so you were in this successful music career, but it was also probably very fulfilling because it was ministry. It's probably everything you could have asked for.
Absolutely.
And then you had this terrible knee injury.
Yeah, I went from living in a tour bus to learning how to walk again. And it definitely, I always had trouble with my knees, but I had just come off of a tour and I came home and my knee gave out on me, and it took a little while for people to...
Did you hit it or anything, or just...
No, I was literally walking across my living room, and thankfully my husband was there to help me, but it definitely freaked him out a little bit because I'm very calm and I never really raised my voice, so when he heard me screaming for help, it really shook us up. And so, you know, right before that, I prayed about clarity on some things because I really felt like God was pulling me into a different season in my life, and definitely got a lot of answers laying in that bed.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't realize that there can be like this, the knee injury or any kind of injury, a long recovery process. You can't really walk, you're sort of stuck.
Yeah, I literally had to go through 9 months of physical therapy. I had 2 knee surgeries, but as I began to grow stronger in my physical walk, my spiritual walk got so much stronger. I was able to read so many books and truly be able to understand. Sometimes when you get caught up in, when you're ministering, sometimes you get caught up in the ministry and you talk about God so much, but your relationship can kind of lack sometimes because you're so driven by ministering to everybody else. And it was a moment for me to be able to draw closer to God. I could have been upset. I could have, you know, fallen apart. But for me, I took the opportunity to draw closer to God so that I would know, okay, God, what's my vision for when I'm back on my feet? Because I had faith that everything would be okay. And truly, He strengthened me to be able to just give me the vision of what I'm working on now with the music that He's placed in my heart. So.
Well, and I can't wait to hear about that, and you're actually going to sing for us today. But before we get there, I mean, we have a lot of people in this church, a lot of people even that are watching on TV, who went through something terrible like you, and they're sitting in bed right now joining us through television, and they're wondering if they're ever going to get out of bed. And they're sitting there, and what do you say to someone to encourage them when they're kind of going through what you went through?
Honestly, God's strength is perfect when ours is completely gone. And for me, you know, we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. And that's something that I have definitely learned to be true in my life. And honestly, the way that God, I'm a strong person, but I didn't realize how much strength God can truly give me. And I feel like everything happens for a reason and everything has a purpose. It's just, you know, sometimes we have to open our eyes to be able to see what that purpose is, and as God reveals things to us. And honestly, this knee injury set me up to be able to truly be able to withstand some other trials that came shortly after that. My parents both battled cancer right after I was able to.
Man, so right after you
as soon as I was back on my feet, I went home and was really excited. I went to a family wedding and I found out that my father was battling cancer. And then a week after that, I found out my mother was. And so
incredible.
Like God, it was really tough. And I truly believe that the strength that I gathered through all of that, I was able to be the family member that was like, okay, these are the scriptures that we're going to be standing on.
Yeah.
This is the prayer that we're going to confess over our parents. And I'm the only girl. I have 2 brothers. And so just being able to be that rock for my family, because I had been studying the word and I had been standing on the word during that whole season of me trying to get on my feet, I was able to keep my family up on their feet. And that was such a blessing amongst the storm. And so, you know, my father is walking in his healing. My mom is closer to hers every day. And so I'm just so thankful that God's faithfulness, even when it seems like things are tough and you can't see that light at the end of the tunnel, or you can't see that day of healing or that day of victory, it's closer every single day. You just have to keep your mind and your eyes on God. His word will light your path. It will direct your path. And even if that path is lonely at times and it seems a little dark, if you just dig in his word and stand on his word, man, it'll light your path and keep you going in the right direction.
Amen to that. I mean, that's a lot you went through. Did you ever want to quit? I mean, during that time, did you ever
Honestly,
think of quitting?
my family's in Kansas City, and so a lot of times, you know, I definitely felt.
You live here in LA?
Yes, I live in LA, and I felt that I needed to go home, and my mother refused to let me go home. And the beauty of it all is at times, just being honest, I felt like, you know, pursuing a dream or a vision of any sort, I kind of felt selfish. Like, I don't want to be in the studio and, you know, my mom's going through treatments and things of that nature. But one thing that I truly learned, you know, the joy of the Lord is your strength. We've heard that our whole lives, if you've grown up in church. And for me, when I released my first solo album, the joy that my mom had, she forgot about every treatment, everything. She's calling her girlfriends and she's calling everybody, just so overjoyed. And it meant the world to her to be able to know that, you know, she didn't keep me away from doing that. Or that's kind of how parents think. They always want their kids to be able to just do what they're supposed to do and not worry about them. But for me to understand, okay, there was a purpose behind me pressing towards the mark and pressing and getting the album done, because it brought so much joy to so many people, and it was supposed to be a blessing to so many people. And I'm truly, truly thankful and humbled by the entire experience, all the ups and downs. I'm really thankful that
it's almost like what you're saying is the lesson is, when we're going through these trials, don't quit, not only just for you, but for everybody that's wanting you to succeed, your parents, your spouse, the people that love you, and even for God, as a testimony for God that He gives us just enough we need to cross the finish line.
Yeah, absolutely. And I stood on Galatians 6:9, and it says, you know, don't get tired of doing good, because in due time a harvest will come if you don't give up.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I just couldn't give up. I know God gave me the vision for a reason, and God doesn't tease us. He gives us visions, and He equips us with the strength to be able to fulfill our purpose. And so that's...
And I'm sure you still have lots of challenges, but you are now in a place where your music career is back on track. You're singing, you're touring. Lots of people love your music, and you're going to be singing for us today. Thank you for that. We can't wait to hear you. But tell me a little bit about the song you're going to sing in a minute. You're going to sing Strength?
Well, the song is called Strength, and it was actually inspired by my mother's journey in this cancer battle. And sometimes, you know, you just don't know what to say or what to do or how to face things. And I wrote this song really just from my heart. And, you know, my album's called Long Story Short, so it's really songs that share my story and my faith and my walk. And so for me, it's just a song that I use as a ministry tool to be able to encourage people, because God can give you the strength to equip you to go through anything. You just have to trust Him. And so no matter what anyone's going through today, whether you're viewing online or on television or just here in the seats, I just want to encourage you to know that God can strengthen you through whatever you're going through. It doesn't have to be something as, you know, as big as a family member battling something, but just to encourage you to be able to make it through the week, you know, make it through, you know, the bills you have to pay, or, you know, anything. God can strengthen you to make it through.
Sada, thank you so much for being here and for telling us your story, and we can't wait to hear your song.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, Sada K.